We were wandering through a discount liquidation center, and there was a home brew kit that they had for sale. So I kind of asked my brothers if we should buy it, and we thought, why not? It's $13. We took it back to my place, mixed the ingredients, put it in the bathtub so it wouldn't overflow all over my kitchen floor. And in a couple of weeks, it was ready to go, so we bottled it, and it wasn't half bad.
I saw all these breweries and all these places, and I saw a lot of stuff that was extremely cool and wasn't in Edmonton. And I thought, there's no reason why, I couldn't come back to Edmonton and bring it back.
If 5 years ago someone told me in Edmonton we would have, just the amount of local breweries that we have here, I would have said no way, but here we are.
Like many cities in Western Canada, Edmonton is undergoing its own craft beer boom, with a number of micro and nano breweries opening every year. What is it about Edmonton?
When we started up, small breweries paid the same amount as large breweries, or at least the markup was the same amount. So we lobbied hard with a few other local breweries to try to get that changed.
The changes in the tax structure for breweries have allowed a lot of new breweries to open up and be experimental and try different things and not be worried about having to brew these huge batches.
And we were just listening to the radio, and they said that Alberta is now laxing the laws on the minimum requirements for breweries. And we both looked at each other and said, let's start up a brewery. This can be done. And we started looking more and more into it, and the more and more we researched it, we saw that it was actually feasible to do. And so here we are.
The community itself is really beneficial and helped us a huge amount, and it has made this a really great success.
As a small business, it's tough for these small breweries to have the marketing muscle necessary to compete with the big players.
This entire brewery is entirely funded by friends and family. It's not anyone big investors.
What does that mean for competition among these craft brewers? Surprisingly, less than you'd think.
I've got some great stories about that. I mean, just yesterday, Town Square came by borrowing a bag of malt just because they needed some. We're a very close community. For a while, my brewer and the brewer from Town Square lived together in the same apartment.
You know what? I haven't seen a saturation yet. I had this conversation last night with a customer, and we were talking about how many more breweries can Edmonton possibly sustain. And one of the interesting things that I've seen is that every time a new brewery opens up, there's a new group of people who become craft beer fans. And one of the nice things with the craft beer community in Edmonton is that they really are a group of people that want to try different things. And so, yes, we do get our regulars who come in every Thursday, every Friday, every Saturday. We do get our regulars that are here sitting at the bar, and we know them, and we love having them in here. But we also have a lot of people who come in who it's their first time, who they say, I was just over at another brewery, and I asked them where we should try next, and they recommended you guys. And so every time a new brewery opens up, they get their own circle of influence, their own family and friends, their own people that want to try them, that then start going, hey, there's a lot more to this craft brewery thing than just beer, the beer that I'm used to drinking. It's different flavors, there's a higher quality to it, there's more to experience as opposed to just sitting down and having a cold one. And so those people then become craft beer fans and start checking out the other breweries in Edmonton. So every time one opens, the number of breweries grows, but so do the number of craft beer drinkers.
And we couldn't open this brewery without the assistance of the great people over at Alley Cat. We originally, when we were ordering our equipment, we found out that our boiler wasn't going to be a CSA certifiable. So we were panicking, looking for another boiler. It was going to cost us $60,000, money we didn't have. So we were really in a panic. And Neil overheard about this, and he offered to sell us his old boiler for a song and a dance. If it wasn't for this community, we wouldn't be open today. I mean, he could have easily just said nothing and watched us die before we were even born. But people like that step up, and they make this community worthwhile.
I'm very proud of all the folks that have come through here and have gone on to do their own thing. There have been some very successful breweries set up. That I think it's been great, and it's nice to see that they're doing well.
A rising tide floats all boats is a feeling throughout the industry. There's no competition between breweries on the consumer's plate, because they like to sample from a bunch of different places.
I think Edmonton has a craft beer community. I feel like we have a more of a tendency towards the craft beer community as well. We have people here who are a little more open-minded to locally sourced products, people who are a little bit more looking for that craft beer style and quality. That makes it a lot easier for us to come into the city and kind of help move it along, because we do have that desire here in Edmonton that a lot of places may not.
Yeah, I mean, I think Edmonton is definitely a beer drinking city. I think some of our pubs, brew pubs, are really good. They're a reflection of that sort of community-minded atmosphere that we have here, and that is happening more and more, I think, where your bars, restaurants are sort of getting behind it, putting interesting things on tap because consumers are demanding it. So, I mean, even at sports bars, you know, you'll find a handful of local options, which is really great. I think you're seeing that in general, kind of across the board, but yeah, I think Edmonton is coming around to supporting some of these breweries.
People have really come around to craft beer in the city, so it's been good.
And it's just, I think that, you know, the interesting thing with Edmonton is as soon as you make something good, people come, and rain or shine. I mean, we're hardy, we're not fair weather, like there's people on the patio when it's not a lovely day. The support from the city is more like, in a sense, the support from the community. Like the community itself is really beneficial and helped us a huge amount, and you know, it has made this a really great success. The response has been fabulous. We've had lots of locals and lots of people. One of my favorite things is I'll see people kind of, you know, the same people over and over again. And as soon as you have a restaurant or a brewery where that's happening, you know, you're doing something right. People want to come back, and particularly when they're from the neighborhood as well. And, you know, just there's ongoing opportunities to engage with them. So we actually try and do neighborhood stuff whenever we can as well, try and support them, and they support us. So really, really wonderful place to be.
So with one of Alberta's biggest and Canada's largest beer producers located in Edmonton, it can be tough to get beer on shelves in liquor stores. There are, however, retailers that talk exclusively to the craft beer market, and these shops are key players in the growth of craft.
My name is Stephen Bizan, and I am the beer department manager at Sherbrooke Liquor. We definitely pride ourselves on being a destination store where people will come, you know, from all over. We do focus on, you know, local craft beer and supporting that community. Like, we want to be a place that everyone feels welcome and everyone could find something they like. Right from the start, that was one of our mandates, was just to have the widest breadth of selection you could possibly get. So when we first started, it was a lot of the European imports, all like the Belgian Trappist ales and like German Hefeweizens, all those like world-class beers. But definitely the past like 3 or 4 years, that's completely changed our business, seeing this influx of new Alberta craft breweries. It seems to be like not only what's taking up most of the shelf space in the store now, but that's just what customers are looking for. So we've seen definitely a shift towards like local craft beer is kind of the standard now, I would say. So if you're doing like a special event for like weddings and that sort of thing, people are moving more towards from the macro brands to some of these local breweries are just kind of the standard go-tos now. So it's definitely, we still want to be the store that provides, you know, everything. So we haven't lost a focus on all the international type beers, but definitely we love to support those local guys, and it's part of our sort of our identity and stuff too, is just to help that local scene and help grow, because we're a small local business as well, so we know what it's like. So to be a part of that has just been really rewarding, and yeah, huge part of our business.
I think right now the challenge is for breweries to actually produce enough beer that they can supply the stores. That's been the biggest challenge so far, because for us, really the delivery issue hasn't been a problem. It's been more a matter of just the breweries making sure they can supply enough for the demand. Yeah, so a good problem to have, I guess.
We moved up here after university for work and fell in love with the city, and it's just where we wanted to be. So we looked around and thought there was room for a brewery in Edmonton, or need for a brewery, and so that's where we put it.
I don't understand people saying Edmonton at all. We're a city with so many festivals, so much energy, and so much culture that it oozes from everywhere you go.
I'm a proud supporter of the city. I grew up here. I'll be here probably forever.
Edmonton is the largest small town. Everyone here kind of knows somebody or is always willing to support local and then hyper local. I wouldn't live anywhere else.
I don't think there's going to be any shortage of high-quality beer or enthusiastic brewers anytime soon. In a city that is as supportive of local production and entrepreneurship as Edmonton, I think there's still room for a few more beards.
Until I see braids like a Viking, we have not seen peak beard. I say that my favorite stories are old brewer Dave running. He had a beard down to here, and when he ran, it went both directions like that.
Peak beard? Oh no, there's lots of room for more beard. Yeah.
Peak beard. For me, this is my peak beard. I can't get much longer than this. I was looking at the mirror and I go, oh, it's time for a trim. So yeah, I'm at peak beard.
And now you're wearing a beard, so clearly we have not reached.
No, that's true.
So